So our group is studying vegetation in the Galapagos and the Hawaiian Islands.
So we have to move fast for both of them because it's like 2 projects in one.
Let's see it.
So both the Hawaiian Islands and the Galapagos Islands are oceanic islands, and they're biodiversity hotspots, and they're made primarily of tropical dry forests. That's why they both fit in the same category.
Our research was based off Dr. Gillespie's grad student, Corey, who was working on restoration of the hibiscus brachypyrgi in Oahu, which she planted 8 plots around a certain area in the island. And we were testing we were going to try to see if there was a correlation between NDVI and elevation, and if it was associated with the mortality or survival of plants.
And for Galapagos Islands, we wanted to study 2 major fires on island Fernandina and Isabella. Then we tried to correlate the fire impact with either invasive or natural regrowth of plants on those islands. This is the study set for the Galapagos, Fernandina, and then the southern side of Isabella.
And this is the Oahu study site. The points are the plots where Corey planted the hibiscus brachypyrgi.
Methods that we use for the Galapagos when using the vegetation map, which will be on the next slide. We calculated the NDVI, then we did a unsupervised classification using the ISA data, and then from that we got 19 different classes, and then using the help of Google Earth, the cursory value on NV to look at the NDVI, or to look at specific NDVIs, and also a vegetation book. We were able to determine which class each vegetation was, so we were able to break it down into grassland, shrubs, mangroves, tropical rainforests, and dry forests. And then for the fire detection tool, when we used the firm's fire mapper, and then we were able to track down a specific fire of interest that we wanted, so that was in 2005. And then from that, we were able to calculate the NDVI of a Landsat image before the fire and then after the fire. And then we were able to overlay the fire shapefile to determine if there was regrowth in that area.
For Oahu, our methods were we downloaded images from Landsat 7 and 8 using Globus. Then we calculated NDVI for all 8 plots over the last 15 years, before, during, and after the restoration. We also ran a bivariate analysis through the IBM SPS statistics program using NDVI values from 2000 to 2015, elevation, plot survival rate at 1 km% and 10 km%, which were
The predicted values of survival.
Here we have the vegetation maps. The earliest cloud-free pixel that we get for the north and southern part of the Galapagos was in 2006 using Landsat 7. Here we have the target area. The fire that we're mapping is around here, so take note of like the type of vegetation there. And then we have the different classes of grassland, shrubs, mangroves, dry forests, and rainforests. And then the fire that was in 2005 was around here. So most of the vegetation in that area was tropical rainforests. Here's the fire. So we have green, this is our change detection using with the fire data. The green is gain in NDVI, so gain in greenness and biomass for Fernandina. And then over here, we actually had a loss in NDVI as a result of the fire on Fernandina and on Isabella.
And we found that in the Galapagos, the change of detection of the image in the other Fernandina, then there is a large amount of vegetation growth, which is represented in green color. And for the detection in the other Isabella, the purple color shows that there is a large amount of vegetation lost.
We don't really have a money shot for Oahu besides the fact that the hibiscus grew. And as you can see, the NDVI values, these are the averages from 2000 to 2015. They're all over the place, and so is the survival rate. So basically, NDVI and survival rate is not correlated.
The discussion that we came to a conclusion for the Galapagos, if you remember the vegetation map on Fernandina, where the fire was, there was not a lot of vegetation. As a result, it showed a lot of regrowth because there was no vegetation, very limited vegetation to begin with. So after the fire, the NDVI picked up very small amounts, anything that was green, little grass, shrubs, and it showed a lot of regrowth. In Isabella, the exact opposite. There was a lot of forest, as you can see on the vegetation map, where the fire occurred. So in effect, it showed a lot of purple or pink color, which was forest lost. And unfortunately, we have yet to be able to correlate it, whether it's invasive species or endemic species, due to trying to figure out actual species on the island through remote sensing, but we're trying to do that.
So for Oahu, we basically found that the vegetation stayed the same prior to and after the restoration. So we concluded that NDVI was not a factor in survival, as well as elevation, because there were 6 plots on the eastern side of the island that were at different elevations, kind of like in a line, and that had nothing to do with their survival. And basically, to figure out what has to do with their survival, we need to take into account other factors like grazing, invasive species, fires, and weather changes.